Hello and welcome to this Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And today we have big news. Cars and Bids has an app. Yes, it looks like this. This is Filippo's phone on our out of focus camera. This is an app that we have. You can bid, you can look, you can see, you can ask questions, you can do all this stuff on our app and get notifications and other great things. Filippo, tell us more about the beauty of the app.
It is just incredibly beautiful. And it's please download it, go to the App Store. It is currently only for iOS. So if you have an iPhone, go to the App Store, download it. You'll get push notifications. You'll be alerted to any new activity in the auctions you're watching. It's a great way to bid, great way to engage your community. Just go download it. We're incredibly excited that it's out.
The Cars and Bids app is finally here. What are you doing to celebrate, Kennan?
Well, I've been using it, which has been great. It's nice to have it like just on my home screen. It is nice to get notifications. Like I had a Dynan S3 M5 that we're going to talk about later today, and I got notifications for it, which is wonderful.
Did you celebrate the app by backing over a television in a BMW M5?
No.
Yes or no?
I celebrated the strength of the M5 by doing that, but we'll move on. That's another thing. And it wasn't my
Topic
M5.
for a different day. All right, we got some news to discuss aside from the app, which is new and you should download it. Bring it on. The Carrera GT news. Wow. Whew.
Brand new car.
Holy crap. Can't believe it's here. V10. No, the Carrera GT news is that Michelin has developed a new tire for the Carrera GT. Even though the Carrera GT hasn't been in production since 2006. You believe this?
Now, is this because the handling of the car is sketchy and people are concerned?
Tires have been an issue on the car in lore. I don't believe that's true.
I don't really believe it either.
But in lore, tires have been an issue. A lot of people talk about how tires contributed to the Paul Walker collision. They may have contributed a little bit. My biggest feeling is the biggest issue there was they were going 94 miles an hour in a 35 zone. I think that was probably the primary factor. And the tires were
old. Yeah, it's like they were.
But I think you're doing 94 and a 35 on new tires. You're probably also going to
cold. Probably not advisable, generally speaking.
Nope. Anyway, the point is they got new tires, and they're going to put them on all the cars. They're going to put them on my car here pretty soon.
Wow.
And then part of the warranty, like the
recall replacement. And then they're going to set a new Nürburgring lap time.
They hope.
Now that is interesting to me because I have long held the belief that if you were to take cars on modern tire technology, you could probably get quite a bit better time on racetracks.
What I wish is that they would put it on KWs. So the car came, I'm serious, it's better suspension. The suspension technology is dramatically better than the Sachs suspension that went in the car 20 years ago. But because that was the OE supplier, Porsche's not going to put an OE car on KW suspension. But I guarantee it would give them an extra 3-4 seconds. I think the difference between that car on KWs with the new tires and without KWs, with them, I bet it sets the all-time lap record.
You started to say that you wish they put it on K, and I really thought it was going to be KO2s.
Oh, KO2s,
which would be quite something.
If that car was on KW suspension, I really think that it would be even faster, and it'll be interesting to see where it lands.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And honestly, I hope that a number of manufacturers continue this with their older, like very high-line
Porsche is doing it in kind of an interest. It's self-serving because Porsche wants everybody to realize that they're standing behind their supercars in a way that some automakers are not. And so they're like, oh, we're still developing tires. We're still supporting it with parts. We're still doing Nürburgring times. We still care. And to Porsche's credit, it helps the resale value of the Carrera GT. And when your hybrid battery goes in certain cars and the automaker is not there to stand behind it, then you start to, not the 918 Spider, certain other brands' cars.
From another, the nation's shaped like a boot. Filippo's familiar with it.
No. And so then you start to wonder, like, okay, should I buy the next one? And Porsche is making it clear, like, you should buy Mission X because we care about Carrera GT enough. Even 20 years later, we're still developing tires. We're still setting Nürburgring times, et cetera. It is kind of cool.
It is a cool exercise.
And that makes sure that everybody's aware, hey, they're going to keep values high of these cars. They're going to keep making parts, unlike Z8 tail lights. Do you want to talk about that next? Let's just do it.
Do you want to talk about that now?
Okay. I found out that the BMW Z8, car we all know and love,
dearly,
the taillights are neon. Have you heard this whole story yet? The taillights are neon. It came out in 2000s before anybody had conceptualized LEDs.
Right.
So they came out in neon taillights.
Very
like
cool.
that.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar.
Take a guess what a replacement cost for a Z8 taillight is.
17,000.
17,000 is absurd. It's $5,000 a light.
That's not notable.
You want to replace your taillights? $10,000 plus labor.
Do you know what a Mercedes E350 headlight costs?
Well, headlights are different. Headlights have all sorts of, they turn and they have all sorts of little bloop in them. A taillight lights up. All right.
and-
Me and
and
Kennan
it
changed
flashes.
taillights. Kennan and I could no joke change the Countach taillights. We didn't even need a weekend or cold ones. We could go
No.
do it right now.
Yep.
I'll say like even just a mildly cool one would be fine. I don't need it to be cold to last the duration of the service. But it is interesting. So I mean, there are a couple of reasons. One, they're only ever fitted to one car.
Yep.
But the thing is, they're known for failure.
Yeah.
They fail all the time. So
They're all failing right now.
it's kind of a knife that just hangs over every C8 owner's head. It's like, when are my taillights going
When
to
are my
cost me 10 G's?
$11,000 tail lights going to
How
need
many
replacement?
people do you think are just like hitting them so that they can file an insurance claim?
Oh, interesting.
Like, just, like,
I
go
would say,
and,
if
like-
I were to guess how many people, I would say none.
Nah, insurance fraud is rampant.
No, that's never happened. But Z8 taillights are 10 grand to replace. Now, with that said, SLR brakes are 40.
Right. So, come see, comes on. You have to really pick your battles here. But nonetheless, what a cool car.
It is cool.
But that is crazy. I wonder what the most expensive BMW component you can buy is individual component.
You know what the other funny thing about this car was? When they released this car, they announced that it would have a 50-year parts. They would have a stock of parts for 50 years. Of course, they abandoned that the minute the car went out of production.
Yep.
They had a stock of parts for like a long weekend. That was it.
Right. As I know, some S62 parts are no longer available, which come in the real Z8, not the Alpinas. And, so,
Okay.
and so, but they did tout that in traditional BMW fashion.
Lied.
Lied.
Okay, give us our next news story. What do we got next? Okay, Kennan, I want to tell you about this because I guarantee you haven't done any research into it, and I want to tell you what's going on.
That's true.
Tesla did another event like they do, and people pay attention to these events less and less because they're the boy who cried wolf. They announce stuff that never comes.
Yep.
And they announced
Tesla
two new
Roadster,
cars.
for example.
The Roadster's a good example because they announced two new cars here, but the Roadster, which was announced like 7 years ago at an event,
And
still isn't here.
has active deposit. People put down real
People put
money.
down
for
money.
it. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, why are you showing us new cars when you're kind of late on the car that we've already...
Yeah.
Okay. But regardless, this is a new Tesla robo-taxi.
Yes.
What I'm about to tell you is true. It's a taxi with 2 seats.
Yep.
So it's you and one other person.
Yep.
So who's not a driver. Just
no
you
driver.
and one other person. If you got 3 people, tough.
Tough.
Got to get another one.
Yep.
You got to get
Hail
another
another
taxi.
one.
But even better, you see how it's a wheel and then there's outside, there's more gold? They painted the tire.
Well,
They
this is-
painted the tire. Look, that is just a tire that's been painted.
Wow. Revolutionary. Elon Musk is a genius.
Anyway, I don't
So-
even find this to be that important of a news story. They announced it was sort of a big thing, but nobody really cares anymore what Tesla says at these things because we all know we're not going to see the car.
Right.
When it's promised, it won't look like it was promised. It isn't going to do what they said it would do.
Still waiting on the Roadster.
Well, I'm still waiting on Cybertruck to cost 60 grand or the
Although-
Model 3 to cost 30.
So what is the toaster thing?
That is
Looks like a
some
fancy
sort of
doorstop.
It's some sort of van, or
Van
something.
bus thing.
It's
They're-
20.
As with many startups, they're reinventing public transit.
Ironically,
slowly.
ironically, this seats 20 and this seats 2. I don't need either of those. I need this to seat about 5 and this to seat about 9.
So really catering to you here.
I need to average out these two
Right.
and to be in order for them to be rational cars. And we need to not paint the tires.
Is it gold because the idea of public transport, like taxis are yellow, and so this is like cooler?
Interesting.
Is
The
that
future of yellow.
Yeah, and gold happens to be like a very trendy color right now.
Interesting.
I want Kennan to know that at the event where they revealed this, they also had a robot serving drinks. Now, the
Was it a
robot,
person wearing a
they
robot
originally
costume?
claimed
Painted gold?
It was gold. They originally claimed that it was like some kind of like tech that allowed it to do this on its own. There was a person controlling it.
there was
So it was a remote
RC.
There was like a remote controlled
Okay.
robot.
I like RC stuff. I would have had an RC. Maybe we got a robot right here.
We sure do.
Yeah.
This guy's the future of transit.
Little Michael.
His name's Mike.
Mikey.
Okay, give
No,
us the next
Mikey,
news
no.
story. This is a Lexus LX 700.
Yep.
This is a big news story that I want to talk
700H. Don't forget.
700H. This is a big news story that I want to tell Filippo about. I'll tell you why. My Sequoia has a 3.4 liter hybrid V6 with 440 horsepower and 580 pound-feet of torque.
And?
Up until this moment, the Lexus LX, the top dog, big boy, doesn't have that. But now it does.
It actually has more.
They gave it a little more power. They were like, how is the Sequoia
Yep.
the top dog big boy? We need this to be the top dog
Yep.
big boy. So they give it the same torque and slightly more power. 480 instead of 440.
Do you know what else? Will come out in 2025. There's no other information. But you know what there will be that there's not currently? An over trail trim.
There's going to be over trail trim of this?
Yep. With triple locking diffs.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
electronically locking. But yeah,
Triple lockers are unusual these days. I just drove that G-Wagon with 4 motors. And I'm like,
Right.
well, I don't need a triple locker anymore.
Yeah, you know, yeah, interesting.
By the way, it's 457 horsepower, not 480. So it's only 20 more horsepower than my Sequoia. Sequoia is still the king.
Pound-feet of torque did the Sequoia have?
583, same.
Oh, same. Wow.
They basically had to upgrade the LX
Something.
just to meet the Sequoia and its needs. Now, the benefit of this is that you don't have to have camo fender
Which
flares.
is admittedly
Tremendous.
a benefit that I too would pay an extra $30,000 for.
What does this cost?
They
$30,000?
haven't revealed pricing.
No, but pricing is enormous. You know, when I went to look for my Sequoia, the cheapest one of these I found was used for $120,000. And I thought spending $85 on the Sequoia was already way too much money. So a new one, I mean, there were markups. I don't know what the sticker is.
LX600 base model starts at 94.
94
This year.
But there were heavy markups on them.
Yeah.
And then there were the used market was crazy and all that. I don't know if there still is. Not a lot of LX demand.
You don't see them.
You don't see them. You see new Range Rovers. You don't see a lot of new LXs. It drives like a truck.
Yep.
Okay, give us our next news story.
Ooh. Brembo, the people that make brakes, have bought Olin's, the people that make suspensions.
Great.
For $405 million.
405.
$405 million.
Huh. What's the upshot of that?
We're done with that news story.
Okay.
I mean, it's interesting, right? There's some consolidation in the parts space, certainly. Brembo sold off some division and had some cash, and I think decided to spend it there.
What's our latest with Recaro? That's the only thing Kennan and I are
Right.
concerned about.
And BBS.
BBS is perpetually in bankruptcy, though. It's like
I haven't heard anything new
it's
on the
like-
Recaro
it's like
bankruptcy.
Lamborghini in the 60s and 70s
And 80s and 90s. And then Audi bought it.
Yeah. Couple of interesting things. Largest acquisition in Brembo history. It is all cash.
Move on to the next one because the next
Yeah.
one's good.
Yes. So this is the Corvette ZR1. We're all very excited for this car to come out. And GM has been doing a good job marketing it. People are very excited, but they also want to give some real stats to this thing. So we all know it has 1,064 horsepower, which is crazy, but how fast does it really go? As you say, all performance cars are the same fast. Not this one. This one does 233 miles an hour. It's tested the combined speed. So that's going one way and coming back and averaging. It was 233, making this the only car under $1 million that will do 233 miles an hour. It's faster than McLaren, or it's not as fast as McLaren F1, but it's
What was the
not
F1?
far off.
237?
It was 241.
And all McLaren F1 fans are like, it's the fastest naturally aspirated car ever. And so this is up
This
there.
is turbocharged and hybrid and new and automatic and but and
The
two
regular
seats.
C8 is NA though, and I think I would hang my hat on that.
But the part that gets me about very impressive. But the part that gets me about this is that Mark Royce, the president of GM, is the one who set the speed,
No way.
and he did it with a passenger.
Oh wow. So it could go fast.
So it probably so it could go faster. But how insane is that? I mean, that's just like a throw down the gauntlet kind of
I
performance.
still believe that all cars are the same fast.
Yeah,
all performance cars are the same
Because you'll never do 233. They did this on, I've been to their proving grounds, which is where I'm sure they did this, right?
They actually did this in Germany.
They did it in Germany.
The
Their
ATP
proving grounds didn't
automotive
even work.
testing.
That's the thing.
Papenburg.
It costs under $1 million to buy the car. What does it cost to fly it to Germany and get all the people ready to?
I mean,
think
still
you're
less than
well below $1 million.
You get the point.
It's a Corvette.
You get the point. You got to rent the track.
Yeah, but you get my point. I mean, that is
It's
so
amazing.
impressive.
233 is amazing, especially because people kind of stop doing the top
Yeah.
speed thing. Like every performance car now hits 200. That's kind of the benchmark.
It's enough. It's enough, admittedly.
And some of those Koenigseggs and stuff go so fast that nobody's ever really going to beat that. And then the question of is it even a production car kind of came into
Right.
play, and it's like kind of over. As someone who owns a car that was the fastest car in the world at one point,
Very briefly.
2 years.
By a technicality almost. Yeah.
No, 2 years.
It's the Countach for those of you who are wondering.
Yeah, because every other car at the time
was trash.
and that was also trash, but just slightly
faster
better trash.
trash. Well, faster.
Yeah, faster trash.
It is the fastest
It is
car
pretty
from
cool.
America, except for one.
Yeah.
Oh, the SSC Tuatara.
Yep.
The SSC Ultimate Aero TT. Those are not cars. So this is the fastest
This is a
American car
real
ever
car.
made. The SSC
Pretty much.
Tuatara and Aero are the Aspark Owl of American
They had
cars.
one that went 283 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It was then question. It was the whole thing, as you guys recall.
Oh, I was
The
a
SSC.
huge-
And then that car burned or got crashed into or something.
It got crashed into. You know what didn't get crashed into? Mark Royce.
Royce.
Driving 240 in a ZR1.
With a passenger.
With a passenger. Who's the passenger?
I don't know, but they must have been scared out of their minds. It's like, this guy's a,
Why is this corporate executive driving so fast? This person is completely unqualified.
Yes. So
If anything happens, we are so screwed.
better hope it's quick. It would, yeah, but also a rare opportunity when GM actually does a stunt like this and it pulls off. Because didn't they have an executive who crashed the ZR1 several years ago, like testing it? Like, yeah, I think that happened as well. So, as
all I know is
producer
the
and I were talking
following,
about.
and I'm going to tell you this, and I want you to understand how special it is.
Oh, wow.
I drove the Hummer EV many years ago at the GM test track.
Yes.
The next day, Joe Biden drove it at the same place.
Wow.
You beat Joe
special.
Biden.
Yeah.
You beat Joe-
I got
So
the
driving the
car
Hummer
before
EV.
Joe Biden. Now, Johnny Lieberman had it before me, but we're not talking about that. What's the next news story?
The real
You're
technical
out here.
world.
You're doing it. You're winning. You're doing it. You're driving the Corvette.
This is not
Joe
a
Biden?
great
That's
Joe Biden impression.
Joe Biden.
All right, give us the next news story. What do we
Folks.
got? Oh,
Okay.
What the hell?
There's something that I want to talk about.
What is this?
Renault, which is a car company in France, and that's actually owned by FCA, interestingly,
Yeah.
has been coming out with some great retro cars.
Okay.
We'll talk about why I care about it. This is the R4, which is meant to look a little bit like the old Renault R4. And there's also an R5, which I think is
Really?
the next slide.
They're bringing back the R5
The R5
name?
is out.
No way.
Can you check that? Yeah, the R5 is like being
Yeah, how
reviewed.
cool is
And
that?
it looks so cool. It looks a little Porsche Macan EV in the front.
Is it
But it came out
electric?
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all electric.
Oh, yeah, it looks Taycan-y with the headlights.
Yeah. The rear, though, looks Renault 5e. And you know what? I was thinking about this a lot yesterday. You know what I realized? We've reached the era where the cars that they're doing like recreations of are cars that I care about. I didn't care when the SSR came out, when the Heritage High Roof HHR came out, when the PG Cruiser came out, when the Camaro Mustang redesigns that were like meant to be
60s
retro
cars,
came
50s
out.
and 60s
But I
cars.
care that a 90s
Right.
Renault is now being reborn.
That's an interesting point.
I've
That's
reached
an
a certain
interesting point.
age.
They're starting to retroize cars that
From the
we
90s, yeah.
grew up with. Because those cars are now 30, 40 years old. There's a retro Countach.
Right.
We're old.
But,
We're
but I
aging.
love this. And I think everybody else will too. Like it's brilliant to bring
Are they going
back
to come
the
back into the
iconic
U.S.
cars.
market now that they're making electric cars? I mean, didn't Peugeot attempt at some point? They set up an office.
They
and-
were going to also have DS, which is Citroen's sporty brand.
Okay, so what happened with
Come,
that?
and that hasn't happened.
So the answer is, the upshot of this is we're not going to ever see any of these cars.
You will see them when you are walking around in Milan, as you should yearly.
So I should yearly. It's my yearly checkup. and
annual
my yearly
pilgrimage to go
walk
see-
around Milan.
I stand by that. Yeah.
Sachet around Milan.
I just think that they're so cool, and I
Of
wish
course, you
that more
actually
people
won't
did
see
it.
them in Milan because Italians only buy Italian
Correct.
cars.
Sorry, you will see them in Paris.
I'll see them in Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. How nice.
No.
Okay, give us our next news story.
All right. This is just, I added it in at the last minute because I think it will annoy Kennan. You are familiar with the 2 Series Grand Coupe.
Yeah, I love that
Front-wheel
car.
drive.
He loves it.
Love
I
it.
can't stand it.
Kind of ugly 2 Series.
Ugly?
there's
What?
I mean, we can all agree. There is a refreshed version.
Yeah.
And there's also a new trim level for it.
Yep.
Which is the M235.
Yeah.
They're no longer doing I. We maybe talked about this already. It's no longer the
Well, it's
M235i.
confusing when it's I and then I3 is
Correct,
electric,
yeah.
and I
But-
used to mean injected, and every car is injected now.
My favorite part is the badge.
Yeah, that M2 is big.
The M2 is the normal M2 logo, and then they added 35 at the end.
Right. Well, this is what they're doing on all their cars now. The first number is now big. So if you see new 5 Series, like 530, it's like 530.
But it's such a lie because it's not an M2.
Well, but it's M2
It's an M2
35. It's the
35.
same thing. They're doing it on all of them to try to get people to understand which line either cars are. Because they
Right.
want to emphasize the series above everything else. Because when they go electric, they're going to lose the numbers at the back, and then it becomes
You know-
I5, 535. They want 5 to be like the number for that car. And so they want 2 to be the number for this car.
But it's the implication.
The
is
implication,
for
this is a
M2.
great car.
People are just going to take floss and they're going to lop off the 35 and just have, it's an M2 on the
But-
back. That will be the annoyance.
Can I tell you something? I like this car. I like the M235 Grand Coupe. Do you have the power numbers right there? It's
I do.
320, isn't it?
It's 312.
320 and all-wheel drive.
It's 312, and it is all-wheel drive.
Dude, 320 and all-wheel. You're yawning. When I was a kid, B7 S4 comes out at 270 and all-wheel drive, same size car, and people are freaking out. The kind of people who are right now writing us complaints online about how they hate this car have a B5 S4 and think that car is God. And this car is 50 horses above that car. It's the same size, and it's still four-wheel drive. And it's a dual clutch, right?
It is a 7-speed dual clutch.
Boom! This thing's cool. I'm convinced.
Is it really? So
Yeah.
why did they
Yeah.
do? So the M5 has an automatic, and this thing has a dual clutch. What was the
I'm
logic
telling
there?
you, I'm telling you.
4.7 seconds, 0 to 60.
If BMW
Same as the 355.
4.7, that beats your M5. I'm telling
It's
you,
the same.
But it's close.
I'm telling you, if they made a
real
true
life.
M version of this, an M2 Grand Coupe, and it was all-wheel drive with 400 horse, it would be an Audi RS3 competitor, and people would think it's cool. I swear it's a good-looking car. People
it's
think
not.
it's not good.
It's-
You
pull-
only say that
pull up
because
a
you know
photo.
it's a bad car, but if you
No,
thought it,
no,
if
no.
aliens showed up, they'd be like, that's a good-looking car.
No,
they
they
knew
would not.
nothing about the car.
Only if it had poor taste in automobiles.
I think the 2 Grand Coupe is a really cool car.
It's not
Weird
a
hill
good
for you to
looking car.
die on. But
It's
okay.
got 320 horsepower and all-wheel drive and dual
Well,
clutch
I
and does
want you
0
to
to 60
know-
and 4.7. If you put those things on paper, you would be like, this is a cool car.
I will say, post facelift, it looks better.
It's still
Pull up a picture of this thing. Type in M235i Grand Coupe.
You got to do 2025 if you want the new one, and remove
I don't
the
care
I.
if you do the new one.
Because as Doug, despite Doug saying M235i, it's not an M235i.
Gotta get rid of
Just
the
scroll
eye.
down, scroll down. Look at that. The white. Do the white one. Do the white one. Look at that. That's a nice looking car.
The facelift helps. The pre-facelift, I also thought the rear hand, like the back was weird.
I'm not sitting here saying it's the most beautiful car ever made, but I'm telling you this. If you didn't know anything about cars, you'd be like this. And by the way, this is the 3 Series from years ago when we were all like,
Right.
"Oh, we love the E46." Here's an E46 with 312 horsepower and a dual clutch.
And worse styling.
Yeah, okay, but it's modern. Like it doesn't have the giant grille everybody complains about.
That's a good
This is
point.
a good car.
Kennan should like this car.
You should like this car.
Yeah, don't.
Kennan, go out and buy one for Emily. She'll enjoy it.
I don't think so. You
No,
know, stick
Emily
with the
wants
info.
an SUV.
Well, and she has an M3 CRT, so she also doesn't care about this car. Yeah,
E90.
yeah, she's legit.
Hey, how come you're not doing the story on the cars that died?
I don't know. Ask her producer.
That's a good story. All right. Next up, we're going to move on to talking about cars, which we've already been doing, but now we're going to talk about non-news cars.
Yes, cars in
Oh,
our
sure.
lives.
And I want to start with something that irks me.
Please.
When people walk up to me in the Countach and they freak out, and then they ask me if it's real.
Well, yeah, it's a fair question.
You walked up to me.
I would
You
freak-
tell me if it's real. You're the one who's freaking out.
If I walked up to somebody and I thought they had a Pontiac Fiero Countach recreation, I would still freak out. Think about it.
It's odd. I would think it was funny. It would be entertaining. But I,
You
I
get
like
my
bank
point.
cars.
Like,
Yeah.
if
It's a-
someone's
it's a
going to come
weird
up to
question.
me, like, don't be asking me if it's real. That's for you to figure out before you start freaking out at me. I'm not here to answer your questions about the realness of the thing that you're freaking out about.
But,
Get out of here.
And you're just like,
You're
yeah.
wrong.
Then they go, oh, okay, it's nice to meet you, Doug. And then they leave. Oh, yeah, of course it's real. Who do you think? Don't you know who I am? I'm Doug DeMuro, and this is a Lamborghini Countach.
No, I've
Can you
never.
go to our site?
I always am like, yeah, it's real. It's real. 5-liter side draft V12, and they're like, oh, cool. But what I want to be like is, you're the one who got excited.
Yeah.
So why are you asking me if it's real? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Go to Cars Bits, type in Fiero in the search.
You're going to talk about that F40.
Oh, I know.
So-
No, I'm going to talk about the Countach replica because I think
Yeah,
it looks similar.
the red
far right
one, this one.
I mean, like fundamentally,
But this
This
does
was a
one
really
tell?
good
This
one.
is titled as a Fiero, but wasn't it a tube frame? It didn't have nothing to do with a Fiero.
kind of. It's the VIN, I think, was a Fiero.
There is no Fiero Countach rep that's this nice.
No, I know.
And by the way, the other thing.
but
that's-
is that a real one? Well, you know.
oh, it would be hard to tell.
It would be hard to say. I mean,
The other thing that's annoying to me about this, or at least surprising, is that anybody's asking this question at all. In the 90s and 2000s, there were a lot of Fiero replicas of Countachs around, but they're gone. They were all poorly made. They've all
Right.
fallen to crap. You don't see them anymore. Like I have seen more Countachs in the last 5 years than I've seen Fiero Countach reps.
That's so true.
That's true.
Well, no Fiero has made it.
No Fiero
To
made it,
2025,
let alone
2024.
ones with like poorly made fiberglass body panels
Right.
that some dude did in his basement
Right.
because he wanted to get away from his family. Am I wrong? I mean,
No.
that's what was going on.
Not wrong at all.
Right. This is such a good rep.
This
This
So
is
cool.
incredible.
What did this
replica.
sell for? I should have bought this and
60
sold
something.
mine.
68. I mean, all the money.
And it's got a
The
5-speed
interior
Porsche
was good
transmission.
too, though. I mean, that's
The
like
interior is pretty. I mean,
pretty good. It's not perfect, but like, yeah,
It doesn't have a gate.
Yeah, but it's got a Chevy 5.7 liter V8.
Yeah, those are seats. Those are real seats.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's really cool.
Would it fool Kennan? I'll tell you that. It'd fool you.
I would buy it.
Oh, definitely fool.
And then
He'd
fool
even-
everybody else.
He'd even hear it start up and he'd be like, "Yep."
Right. That's real. That's real. He's
the
not asking.
difference is that it would start up, and then
telling.
that's a telltale.
My car starts every time. Meanwhile, your cars, on the other hand,
Start every time.
okay.
they always
Kennan,
have.
tell us about the gifts.
Yes. So I recently was in Ohio for my friend's sister's wedding, and there happened to be a car show that I went to. It was called Motobella. Amazing turnout, and I got some gifts from some people who were there. So one of the
wow.
people was Myron Vernus. Now, for those of you who
Oh,
are
we love
unfamiliar,
Myron.
he's Junkman on Instagram. Has the most eclectic collection of cars, I would say, of
Yep.
stuff you've never heard of. I mean, that's his thing, is weird, like really bizarre stuff.
When I met him, I told him he's like known for being into weird cars, and he was surprised by this. And I was like, That's what you're.
That's his thing. Also, one of the kindest human beings
Yeah.
I've ever met. Truly one of the nicest people. And he gave me this, which is a Dodge Viper RT10. I don't want to take it out because I don't want to damage it, but it's in there. There's a little Dodge Viper because he knows that I have been.
This is a model of one.
Yes, these in 1992, these were like the part of the like press kits that were like given out at dealers.
That's incredible.
And so I happen to have one now because he knows I want one and he wants one too. He loves the first gen Viper and knows that I'm on.
Don't we all?
The hunt.
Yeah.
And so that was incredibly kind. I was not expecting it all, but I cherish
That's
it.
so cool.
Thank you, Myron.
Byron
Also, it's
Furnace
red.
coming through.
Yes, but it continues. So my friend
my goodness.
Nick had a Maybach 57 that unfortunately caught fire and burned to the ground. Now,
This is not like just something Kevin's saying. This is what happened.
fact. Now, but he happened to
department
have
was
a
there.
bunch of accessories that he wanted to, so the spirit of his Maybach could live on. This evidently is the press kit that you got when you bought a Maybach product at the time. And inside of this portfolio,
So not the press kit. It was
this came with your car.
your car. Yeah.
So they have his leather interior swatch here, which smells amazing. Smell that. It's
So this is like a.
Smells
Smell
like leather. I've smelled it.
Yeah.
Smells like leather.
oh, it just smells like a car of that era. It's you could almost eat it. It
Like
smells-
walking down the streets in
Don't say that.
Florence.
Doug might eat it.
Yeah, don't give him ideas. I can't get it out, but this is the
why?
this is a wood sample too that like came with the car, and then
So these were the samples that if you ordered a Maybach,
they gave you yours, and then but interestingly they didn't give you just the color. They're like, you can have all the colors, sir. And so and they all have like the names on the back of them, but there's the full color range, which is
Wait, can I have clear? I want the first one, clear.
that's the clear coat.
Can I ask you guys a little trivia question?
Yeah.
What was the only non-metallic color available on the Maybach 57?
White of some kind?
Bianco. It was called.
If you
Vice.
It was called Snow White.
give it one more shot.
Snowy Owl White.
It's called Alaska White.
Close. I
said-
mean,
that's what I
you know,
said.
yeah,
Alaska
I think
means
that
snow
is what he said.
in the native tongue.
There's a lot in here. I was really stunned. So in addition to that stuff, there are also like books that talk about like the materials that go into each of these cars. It's like story time.
Give me one of these. This
Look at that.
person's
Like-
like hand painting a violin. Give me
Yep.
one of these books.
Look at this book.
Eye-catching effects is the paint section. Oh my gosh, this is incredible. All this stuff.
It's just like
Oh my God, Kennan, listen. Paint is smooth. Paint is pure. Paint is only perfect when it looks as if it was poured in one go.
a
And where the
bad-
pure evenness is not impaired by lumps, runs, or stray strands of hair, no matter how fine. Yikes.
Can I ask you both a second trivia question? These two greens have a very similar name. Guess what they are?
Green
And Gruen.
Filippo and green Maybach.
Ireland medium green and Ireland dark green.
Okay.
okay, fantastic.
This is amazing. I
This
really
is
am
an
surprised.
amazing
And this is a
gift.
really cool thing. When you bought
so cool.
super expensive cars, this is the kind of thing that you
used to get. Yeah, and
I think still today
Maybe
automakers are
still.
pretty good about.
maybe you still do, but so much of it is digital these days.
A lot of
It's just
digital
like
stuff.
online.
I mean,
But-
Genesis gave you an iPad, so
Right. But it was a wonderful gift. So thank you, Nick. Your Maybach lives on here in the Cars and Bid studio, and I'll put all this stuff back later. But
Speaking
very
of
cool.
gifts, by the way,
oh,
You
yes.
got something?
mailed something to us. You wear this?
I forgot.
And it's a little. What it is it's here. It is. It's a little stuffed bird. It's an owl, if you will.
It's an owl.
and,
I will.
and it came with a card. Okay, and the card says, "My name is Aspark, and I'm real." And I agree. This is the only real Aspark owl.
Yep.
Because the other ones are all fake.
Fake.
To be perfectly frank, they're not
Aw.
cars
Hi,
that we are
Aspark.
aware of.
Hi, Owl.
This is an Aspark owl, or is Aspark the owl?
Aspark
Much more
the Owl.
aesthetically pleasing than the
He's
Aspark
friends
owl, too.
With Mike the Audi robot.
He sure is. That's how
Aspark the owl.
sweet.
Someone sent us to us. They didn't sign it, so it just arrived. We
Well,
don't
thank
even
you
know.
to the
It's a
gift.
mystery.
Maybe Aspark themselves.
They should, after all the
They don't-
publicity we've given them.
Yeah, nobody had heard of this car until we started
Yes.
really making fun of it.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Okay, Filippo, what's your topic for us
You know,
today?
my topic was added by not me, and it just reads, "Will I ever buy a car?"
Will I ever buy a car?
And the answer is, of course. I have bought several vehicles in the past, and I will continue to in the future.
It's been a while, though. Like, you know.
It's been a year and a half.
Yeah, and you've been talking.
I've been talking.
a lot of talk.
Look,
lot of talk.
I want a C7 Corvette. I don't want to spend money. and therefore I have not bought a car.
But
That's what it amounts to.
why won't you look at a car purchase as total cost of ownership like I do? Why do you have to look at it like you spent money? Are you just so afraid of the opportunity cost? What are you doing with the money right now?
Saving it. It is stored under my mattress, as all sane people do.
It's all Italians. That's how Italians save money. They don't trust the banks. They don't trust the stock market.
For good reason. No, that is not where my money actually is. Do not rob my house to get the cash that's non-existent. Here's the thing. The true total cost of ownership is not, you won't make money buying a normal
I know,
car.
but you won't lose much.
You'll lose some, though.
But Filippo, life is worth living.
I live it.
God, he is such a. I think this is one of the reasons why Filippo likes me, despite the fact that, like, objectively he shouldn't.
So
is that like I am someone who actually does some of the things that he like. It's like, oh, interesting. That would be cool. But then he doesn't pursue the doing of the thing.
I have spent. Let me tell you guys how much I've spent on cars in the past. Bought a car for $1. Other car I bought. I will go in order for $8,600, $3,000, $4,000. 27,150, and then 11,000.
But you were
so there's one outlier there, and I can't quite cross the outlier.
I had a lot. I had a hard time crossing the 40 grand mark for a long time.
I'm having a hard time crossing any mark.
The difference for me was I had a very hard time crossing the 40 grand mark for a daily driver.
Right.
Even still, I think that 40, 50 maybe with inflation now should buy you like all the daily you need.
90, 80 on the score.
Yeah, it's too much.
Right.
But I've started to think of things as total cost of ownership more
but
than
the total cost of ownership, once you include taxes, once you include insurance, once you include maintenance, is non-trivial.
But as Kennan would say, life
is worth living.
Like, what are you going to do?
$500 cabriolet.
People die.
Don't you want to enjoy your life? Life is fragile and it's short.
I think that there's a good chance that in the next 3 months, by let's call it the end of Q1 2025, I will have bought a vehicle.
I think there's no chance of that at all.
I think I would put money against it.
But you can continue living vicariously through me. I had quite a drive to work this morning, I'll tell you. Whew. Okay, time for you can come next time. Time for the market report. Market report brought to you by Cars and Bids, the world's finest automotive online auction automotive.
That now has an app. You can download it on the Apple App Store.
Download the app, because on our app you can do things. Now you can also do it by not downloading the app, so either way, but you should download the app. I want to talk about the app gives you direct access to tell Filippo what car he should buy. Does it?
It sure does. You could go to community and make a post, and then I'll look.
Okay, I want to talk about a few things with the market report.
By the way, if you're selling a C7 Corvette Z51 coupe with a 7-speed for like under 30, let me know.
And you're his neighbor.
And also,
he doesn't want to.
No. I'll have you submit, but it also needs to be within like 5 miles of my house. So
he wants to make sure he gets it for a deal. He knows if he buys it on the site, he'll pay all the money. All right. Kennan, take us away on the E39 M5 result today, which was wild.
It was great. So I had mentioned in the portion that Filippo and I talked about, I think I mentioned it last week too. We talked about important cars that are for sale right now. And this E39 M5 was for sale. Dynan S3, which is the supercharged version of the car that was offered by Dynan in the early 2000s. 621 horsepower, real stuff. And it sold for $117,500.
I admit I hadn't clocked too much on this, and I should have. But I now did. I watched the auction end. I didn't make any comments because I was filming a Tahoe Z71. You know how it goes.
Right. We were filming.
But I was watching the auction, and it was an amazing auction to watch. The bidding war started in the 60s and just carried through the 80s.
42-minute bidding war.
42 minutes. Yeah. And but I didn't really pay that much attention. So this Dynan makes performance parts, but they also made individual like cars
packages. So you could do an S1, an S2, and an S3. The S1 was not a whole lot. It was like a very light, not a whole lot. The S2 got suspension, a different differential, it got real stuff. But the S3, they went the full Monty, took an S2, gave it a supercharge, and gave it real power. And of course, like stuff was carb legal. That was the thing that was insane about Dynan.
It's modded, but not like heinous. Like it's modded by people who knew what they were doing and thinking about the complete package.
Well, not only knew what they were doing. If you did the package at the time on any of the Dynan products, BMW would honor your warranty.
Oh.
Like it was that's how high quality the components were. And there's a relationship between BMW and Dynan that was very strong. But these cars were ludicrously expensive. I think it was like $75. It was between $75,000 and $100,000 to do this in period.
More than the cost of the car.
The same cost of the car, yeah. Like
doubling the cost.
It doubled, so it's 75 grand on top of the 75 grand.
But I mean, in fairness, it was more powerful than the M5 that came after it. So
how much power? It was
621 horsepower. And I don't remember how much torque. 502 foot-pounds.
20 horsepower.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is like the holy grail in the E39 M5 community.
It is, because they made, obviously, due to the cost, made very few. This one is number 23. They all have plaques and are individually numbered.
How many did they make?
I don't remember. It's not many. I don't think many. Into the 30s, I think.
The cool thing about this car was also final model year, blue.
Yep, bright
one
color.
owner.
Yeah.
And that's an ancient Texas plate. And it's got the caramel interior that Filippo and I love.
I do love.
Yep. It is. Yeah, exactly. This was.
This good dude bought the car new and did the dine-in thing new.
And then drove it himself 78,000 miles. I
Wow.
mean, so this set a record for us as the most expensive E39 M5 we've ever sold. Rightfully so. It's the one, and this is the second most expensive dine-in S3 to transact in recent.
And I
history.
will say the other one that transacted elsewhere a few months ago had a third the miles, quarter of the miles.
Yeah.
And did not sell for much more. So this is a very strong result.
I am proud to say, as a lover of these cars, I really do believe we are the place to sell your E39 M5,
Yeah.
and I think this result shows that.
How many E39 M5s have we auctioned at this point?
Let's see. We have sold 138 of them.
Wow. Kennan has given us the E39 M5.
I have.
The E39 M5, Kennan has giveth, and the E39 M5 has
Taketh away.
Giveth back.
Give us more.
Taketh all my money away. But
It is amazing the range of these cars.
I
The
know.
previous ones all sold for 14, 15 grand, but that's a really, really, really special car. Very interesting.
Incredible. What is the
Amazing to watch
second
that result.
Highest
Truly.
price one that we sold?
Oh, yeah,
If you go to highest price.
yeah, it was the Illyria Cosilla car, the
Oh, yeah,
80,
yeah.
the 20,000 mile.
And that was a 2000.
It was a
This
2000.
is a cool car too. The O2 with 50,000 miles for
Yep.
64.
Yep.
That would have been nice.
And we have sold a Dynan S2 as well. We have another one that's coming very shortly.
have
to
one
the
live
site.
There's a
right
Dyna
now.
S2
Should be
that's
live
live right
currently.
now.
Yes.
If you want an S2, but that doesn't have the blower.
Doesn't have the
which
blower.
Kennan prefers
But
because he's a naturally aspirated man.
It's
He's
the NA
actually-
build, and it still made, I think it was 430.
Oh, so it had more
horsepower.
power.
It had more, yeah, because it got the Dynan headers, which are in the E39 M5 community are gold. When they come up for sale, they bring
come you don't have
big
them?
money. I keep things stock, but
Except
they are also
for-
their cars.
Except for his tune to
And some other modifications we learned about here and there.
irrelevant.
Every once in a while, you ask Kennan a question, and I got.
right.
Right. Well, nonetheless, yeah. But the S2 is kind of the one to have. In my opinion, it's the one to have. The S3 is, if you can afford it, is without question. But they're
it's
so
hard to
rare.
justify spending 120 G's on an E39 M5. Plus, you got to find one.
Yeah, the S2s are really great, and I'm excited to watch that result. But nonetheless, this one today, especially that bidding war between two people who really wanted a third person would kind of raise their hand, then those two would just slap it down again and keep going.
Amazing.
It was an incredible war.
Well, they know it's not going to happen again. It's like McLaren
No.
F1 comes up for sale. You got to buy.
Right.
Yeah,
X
this-
underscore Y underscore Z. Send us a message.
Yeah.
We want to know about your
We wanna know
ownership
more.
experience.
Yep.
Okay, Filippo, tell us another
Yeah. Can
thing.
you look at 997s?
Market
please?
report for 997s. This is the 911 that was made from 05 to 12.
997s, especially early 997s,
Yeah.
have started to get really cheap.
Click on lowest price there, Kennan.
Okay, well, the very cheapest
This one's
ones were a long
this
time ago.
one's from
But that's recent,
March.
25K. A few others that have R&M between 25 and 30 because that market is moving quickly. But you can get a stick
High
early
20s.
997s, high miles, over 100,000
Wow.
miles for sure. Some concerns reliability-wise, but for under 30 now.
Wow.
Wow.
We were all.
Which is, by the way, the same price as the C7.
It happened in 996s a long time ago.
I know.
997s are really starting to follow suit as 991s are starting to become cheaper. And
991s are in the high 40s for a tip one.
you can get one in the high 30s if you're willing to put up with 6 accidents. We sold this with 6
sold one
accidents
for
car for 38.
But there are a lot that are that are sub 30.
That's interesting.
I've been in looking casually, and there's a lot available elsewhere too.
Here's a question I have. If 997s are 28,
What are 996s?
They're
I
down
mean, the
too.
996 starts to become, it has to be cheaper than this because the 997 is a really more complete car.
We've been selling. I find 996s are back to 2020 prices,
Here's
which
the
is
question.
15 to 20
15 to 20.
for like a rougher one.
Yeah, it's funny. Porsche, during pandemic, Porsche prices were wild.
Oh.
Everything was going for over sticker, and 5-year-old Targas were selling for over sticker and all that.
Yep.
And now they're all pushing down on each other once again.
Yep.
And seeing
like,
997s at 20 something, I remember when that car came out.
Right.
I mean, I was like a holy crap kind of thing. I
Right.
remember when 991 came out, and it's not that much more expensive than a 997.
Sadly, manual 991s are still quite high.
How high are we talking?
50s.
50s.
Maybe I should
That's a
maybe I should
very
consider
modern
getting a
car.
997.
You should.
That'd be kind of
You
nice.
certainly won't lose value.
Yeah.
You should get a
And
wide.
it'd be it can be reliable.
You should get a wide 996. Here's a crazy take that everybody's going to find
Would
crazy.
you rather have a
I'd rather
4S
have a
than
wide
997?
996 than a 997.
Wow.
Interesting, really.
Than an early 997.
You know what's upsetting? Wide 996s more expensive than
They're
cheap
about the same.
997. Yeah.
We sell wide 996s for
the
high 20s, low 30s.
mid-30s, yeah.
We sold a really nice 996 4S the other day. Okay.
I mean,
We'll come up
if it
that way.
works, yeah.
No, we sold a yellow one that was like anyway. You get the idea. These are selling also in the high 20s, low 30s.
Wow, the fact that they've come down more than I realized.
Yeah. Wide 996, I said that one. That car was so nice. This is 44, but this is a really nice.
This is
6-speed
here,
manual,
too.
yellow, low mile, inspected.
I do love the wide.
Perfect car.
The wides.
Yeah.
Wow,
and look
yeah.
at that. Plus, the wide looks so good. Click on that.
Oh yeah, the rear
The
three-quarter.
rear three-quarters of the wide, in my opinion, is one of the greatest like
Yep.
911s of all
I
time.
agree
I
with
know
that.
it's crazy to
No,
say.
I
The
agree
front,
with that.
you can have the fight, but the rear, it just looks damn good. You can see where the 993 came and
Yep.
turned into this. You
Yep.
really can.
Those are transition. You can definitely see.
And those are some of the great wheels that Porsche
Yep.
ever did.
yes,
And I kind of think that the 996 4Ss will not lose much more value.
Yeah, they're cool cars. But it's interesting that 997s are getting into the 20s. Wow,
That's
what a world we
appealing.
live in.
There are some concerns with early 997s.
Yes.
You still have IMS issues.
Yeah.
And there's some other issues.
Poor
apparently.
scoring.
Yeah.
There are some little issues.
But they're very appealing.
But a lot of these cars have some miles on them now. Stuff's been addressed.
They're very appealing.
Yeah, no, they certainly are. Okay, last thing I want to discuss is the C8 Z06 and the C8 in general. Type in C8. Let's just do it. You ready to do
Keep
it?
in mind that you're old. Yeah. thanks.
We had to do it at some point. The C8 market is changing, folks. Remember when C8s were like all 100 grand?
I do. I remember the first one we sold in 2020.
This one has been to 47.5. I mean, it didn't sell for that, but they're selling now in the 50s. But the reason I wanted to pull it up and talk about Z06s specifically, which are also really, really, really coming down. If you go to the top, no, just scroll back up because there's only a few up there. No, a little.
Yeah. Just keep going up and down. Eventually you'll get there.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I clicked on a Stingray.
The point is, the whole C8 Corvette market is starting to really, really, really change. I saw some article that came out. It's like C8s are the fastest depreciating cars.
Yep.
Like, well, yeah, they are because they had gone to a crazy, crazy level, and now they're finally starting to come down to a more rational number. But you can already pick C8 Z06s up for becoming around sticker.
Wow.
Aren't they below sticker at this point?
Perhaps even below. And E-Rays, which are the bargain of the whole lot,
I know.
are also fairly affordable. This is basically a
that's
new E-Ray
massive
for 112.
depreciation
That's where it got bid to. It didn't sell, but you can see where the market is heading on all of these cars.
On our reserve setting valuation side, it's just a fall. It's a free fall.
May
truly.
I ask you a question as a C7?
You set a reserve a month ago, and it's like, well, here's 5 new cars
Yeah.
that are come for sale, or 5 new comps that show, nope, that's 10 grand too high.
Yeah.
10 grand too high.
May I ask you a question as a C7 man?
Yep.
What number does the C8 have to get
None.
down to?
I'm not optimizing for performance.
You ever driven a C8?
No.
It's amazing.
I drove an E-Ray from that spot right there to the trailer upstairs. Does that count for anything?
Dude, it is. But you want to stick.
I want to stick.
I agree with that. As much as I love some of these auto cars, I look at them and I'm like,
There is a C7 argument to be made, and some of my friends have made it to me, that I should spend way more money for a Grand Sport. Like a late Grand Sport, because C8s will continue to depreciate because they're all automatics. They're all kind of similar. They're producing more and more and more.
yeah.
But a very nicely spec'd C8 Grand Sport, or C7 Grand Sport, excuse me, might not depreciate the same amount.
I think it still will. The Grand Sport had the Z06 body, but not the performance.
Correct. But it had some suspension upgrades and stuff.
Kennan and I would recommend getting a C7 Z06.
Yeah, that's kind of the one.
yeah,
But he's not. That's too much for him. He wants a normal one.
I do want
he wants.
one.
Yeah, he just wants
there's an
the.
argument to be made for a non-Z51 pack, by the way.
What is it about?
You should get a Z.
What is it about the C8?
That makes me not
He
want
wants a
one.
man.
No. What is it about the C7 actually that makes you want one?
It just seems like the smart choice.
It's
like
it is.
performance for the money,
is.
drivability, everyday ability.
Quality. The interior is much nicer
the
than its
quality
predecessor.
is on par with the cost, which is low.
Yeah, but it's you've
But like,
been in the
it's
C6.
on, I've been in a C6. It's on par though. It's acceptable. It just seems like a bargain and one that I don't have to worry that much about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. That's fair. All right. That's our market
Plus,
report for the day.
There's no image. There's no negative image unless you are in an old person community.
It's a Corvette. There's
There's
image.
but I would much rather be perceived as an old man wearing New Balances than as a wannabe rich person. You know?
Yeah. And no one will perceive you as a wannabe rich
Correct.
person. A C7. That's
Correct.
true.
I want to fly under the radar.
I will say, I agree with Kennan that there's an image in any Corvette with the exception of the C2.
Yeah, or C. Well,
What is the
C1
what?
gets respect too.
C2 is such a beautiful car. Some of the richest people I know. I mean, it's a
all
totally different
old,
world.
though.
No, not necessarily. I would get a C2. Larry Shinoda. Okay, we're going on to questions.
Yep.
Questions for us. Now, you can ask us questions. You can ask me questions. You can ask Kennan questions. If you have questions for Kennan, you can ask them.
Yes,
you
or
just have
Filippo.
Filippo, of course. You have to go to you just go to the community tab, go to carsandbids.com, or use your Cars and Bids app, which you've downloaded while listening to this podcast while you're driving to work. You're listening to the
Maybe
podcast, you got
after
your
you've
phone.
driven to work.
Don't do that. Go to work first, then download the app. Use your company's Wi-Fi. Cars and Bids.
Incredibly, my concern was not with their data usage.
Cars and Bids community tab, and then there's going to be a document in there that says, ask us questions for the next podcast, and you ask your questions, and we will answer the highest upvoted questions, no matter how stupid.
Can I say
right?
one more thing about the app?
Yeah.
If you are interested in there being an Android app, we don't currently have one. We're considering it. Please send us an email at app@carsandbids.com if that's something that you're interested in.
App@carsandbids.com. That's what I said. That's how you download the app. You go to app@carsandbids.com.
Today has been just chaos.
Okay. Time for our very first question, which comes from Q Sal. So it's Sal asking Q.
Oh.
And he says, question for all three. Which car/cars would you buy for your kids? P.S. Been watching you for years, and I might love you more than Kennan loves his M5, and then in parentheses, Emily. I never considered that his M5 might be Emily.
That theory has been
Interesting.
It's been posited before.
Interesting. Okay, which car would you buy for your kids?
There's a simple answer.
New NSX. Okay, next question.
New.
No.
Wow. Dang.
What car would you buy for your kids, Filippo? What is the answer? Ford Fusion.
The Corolla hybrid.
Okay. Kennan?
A Civic hybrid if you want the fastest Honda Civic.
I don't.
GR Corolla would be pretty cool.
GR Corolla.
For your child, they
Wouldn't
will
give my children-
rally slide into
Your
a
kid's
curve
17.
tomorrow.
He's going to rally slide into a curve
Ryan's first
tomorrow.
car was an M5. I mean, people.
Yeah, but Ryan
Ryan
is like
is-
fastidious. Have you met Filippo when he was a kid? You know what
he
he
drove
used to
it
do?
into an embankment. I
Oh,
watched
there
him.
you go. That's my. And you crashed into a
was fine.
teacher. You almost paralyzed
I was
a
in
teacher.
college and I bought my own car at that stage. That wasn't my first car.
He almost paralyzed.
That
a
did not-
I
school
think
teacher.
the real
It
answer
was a
is
low speed impact at like
But if it had been high
8
speed-
miles an hour.
that'd be faster.
Right. If it had been that simulator that you love, we just speed it up to infinity.
Yeah, it almost happened. If you had pressed the accelerator many miles earlier, all the way down, you could have paralyzed.
If
Anyway,
I'd hit the brakes sooner, yeah.
so wait, your answer is a GR Corolla. His answer is a Corolla hybrid.
Or a Civic hybrid.
I don't.
Or just whatever car you have. Your teenager doesn't need a new car.
The answer is you get him a
Yeah,
Ford
he's-
Fusion Energy.
Or a C-Max Energy.
No. Don't be ridiculous. You get a Ford
How about a
Fusion
Ford Focus
Energy,
Energy,
and
which
it'll
is
teach
not
them
the same.
You know what the Fusion Energy teaches them? Not only it teaches them how to fill a car with gas, but how to plug one in.
Are you at all worried that they'll only learn how to twist a knob and no other ways to put a car into drive?
Interesting.
Concern.
I'm thinking.
Then you also need to teach them in a regular car how to drive, and then you let them loose with the Fusion Energy.
All right, if you want your child to have a manual transmission as a first
I
car,
don't.
because
Look,
then they text
I
and drive
do.
less.
You want to answer this question? Scroll through the site. I'll say hit when it's time for your kid's first car. Nah, none of these.
Actually, I would consider an E60 of some kind.
No, that engine's unrealiable.
You gotta
Next,
drive
next,
them
next.
to
Keep
school,
going. Come on.
330i
I'm not opposed to an LS 460.
Oh, it's
Keep
so
going.
big.
It's big, but it's safe.
GTI?
It's
A
slow.
GTI?
No, too fast and zippy. They'll kill their friends. Boy, you give them a QP5
Quattroporte.
and really ruin their lives. But the
Delica
friends would
space
think
gear
they're cool.
or too much space? Ooh,
Delica space
Focus
gear.
Saline and N2O.
Focus Saline N2O. That's good because it's probably pretty slow, but it looks cool as hell. Maybe the car
ZHP.
hauler. Car hauler, and you really teach them a few things.
E46,
Keep going. I haven't found a perfect one yet.
Oh,
Keep going.
335D.
Datsun
335D is a
It's
really
a good
one.
choice, yeah.
Good range. They were all automatic.
They can run away from home too easily.
Good-
They can
good
go
power.
visit
Good
their
torque.
boyfriend
You're
across the
worried your
country
child's
on
gonna
3
walk out
tanks
the-
of. They get across the country 3 tanks of gas. It's too easy.
Okay, fine. What else we got?
Z4
None of
Roadster?
these. No.
S4 is a little too quick, but it would be nice.
Audi
No,
All-Road
these are all
Quattro?
too good.
Steak All Road,
No.
Blazer Silverado.
Maybe a V60, but not a Polestar. How
Yeah.
about that? How about a V60
Do you know
not Polestar?
how
They're free.
cheap V60s are?
What that body V60? What do they cost used? 6?
So for just a random one you find on
Yeah,
for sale.
T5.
10.
That's the answer. V60.
I actually 100% agree. Buy your child a V60.
Yep. Okay, next question from Big Ultimate Hater 6, a common question asker. In a fictional world where animals could drive cars, what car would Noodle drive?
I have an answer for this. Noodle hates noise.
Hates noise.
He would drive an EQS.
No, he's not a luxury dog.
I know, but he needs to be isolated
He
from
kinda
the
is.
world. He is, and he needs to be isolated from the world. He's driving around.
He's not a luxury dog.
He
doesn't
drives
eat
around. You want him to
designer
crash
food.
anytime there's a
He's a
garbage truck
designer
nearby?
dog.
No, you want him to be isolated from the
I
garbage
think
truck.
he'd be in like a prologue because he wouldn't know any better, and he doesn't
No, but
care.
he needs quiet and protection from the outside world.
I don't think
He's
he
a
would
slightly
get an
anxious
EQS.
dog,
I
Doug.
think he'd be like, no. Plus, the styling would be too much for him.
He's a slightly anxious dog.
He would want.
Yeah.
I
think he'd be in a prologue.
What about like an EQE?
I will tell you this: he hates all my fun cars. I pick him up from daycare and like the Ford GT, and he's like, ugh.
But didn't you learn at one point?
You can
that-
just see it.
I thought he liked V8s.
No, I just think he really hates diesels. But I think he
Because
just.
it's too loud, so he would love electric.
That's why I'm saying a prologue. He's in a prologue.
No, but he wants an electric with like triple pane glass.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do that. He's just not a luxury dog.
He'd be chauffeured just as he is now.
He
would
isn't
be
a
driven.
luxury dog. Is
Okay,
something we'll talk about as a group later.
Next question from Autoblog. What is your biggest automotive pet peeve? I got a bunch.
I got a ton.
Mine is when people say stuff that is stupid and you kind of have to let it go. Like, this car has insurance only for, this car's back seats
seats for
only for
insurance.
insurance purposes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those.
There are a lot of myths that have just like, for whatever reason, sunken into people's consciousness and they just regurgitate and never fact check.
Constantly hear them. And I always have to be nice to everyone. So people say stuff like that and I'm like, oh yeah.
Actually.
No, I never correct people ever.
Right.
So
But
if
it
you ever
tells you-
say something to me when you see me on the street, it could be totally wrong. I'll be like, yeah.
But you know. In your mind, you're like, how do I get out of it? How do I get out of it? Well, it's great to see you. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Yeah.
What are other automotive pet peeves, Filippo?
I'm trying to think. I'm not easily bothered.
Well, you're just bothered by car culture.
I do hate car culture with a passion. People, we design cities for cars, and that's stupid.
People likes to walk around.
Walkability and bikeability and mass transit are very important.
I hear so many BS things that people say. Now that I think about it, you can't drive a right-hand drive in America. It's illegal. There's so many things as you go through it and hear all.
Okay, I have an actual pet peeve that's related to that. I find it very annoying when people import a car illegally and then try to sell it and claim, oh, it has a title, it's all fine. No, that's not the concern.
Yes, when people do
can-
illegal
you can
things,
import
trying to
things
sell
in general.
cars,
We
it's
are-
a
we
pet
are-
peeve of mine
Right,
too.
as-
Murder is another pet peeve.
We are
Theft in
aware
general.
that you are, like, sure, just because you got that car titled because that one DMV clerk let you title it in Florida, doesn't mean that car is legal
I
in the
do
US.
have, when I used to do intake, which was the first like 18 months of this business, intake being all the cars that are submitted to Cars and Bids by people, there were an enormous number of pet peeves. Here's a big one. Car's been hit. Okay. Carfax has an accident. You tell them, oh, it was only a minor parking lot thing. No problem. Not a big deal at all. Meanwhile, they're buying. Oh my God, it has a bad Carfax. I want $20,000 off.
Yeah.
And it's like,
the hypocrisy is
so annoying.
that's one. I mean, like this is kind of specific to because of business we work in, but when people cover up their license plates with towels instead of taking them off of the damn
You
car.
cover up your license plate with a towel. I just watched Regular Car Reviews is doing all these Instagram
they're great.
reels right now, and one of his was, if you cover up your license plate with a towel, you don't change your oil. And I totally agree with that.
100%.
If you cover up your license plate with a towel or with your thumb, it simply suggests to me that you are a lazy person and you were lazy about your car. You were lazy owning it, you were lazy maintaining it, you were lazy keeping it. And my big thing with buying a car is you're not buying the car, you're buying the seller.
Yep.
And if the seller can't get a screwdriver and unscrew a license, do you know how long that takes?
You know your license plate is visible every single time
Well,
you're
that's
on a
the other
public
thing.
roadway.
I've got my license plates and every one of my Instagram things. I don't care. But meanwhile, if you want to take your plate off, whatever, fine. But like your thumb, you're a loser. That car is worth $8,000 less if you put your thumb over it. And if it's a $5,000 car, you got to pay me $3,000 to take the car.
I'm going to hit you with a low ball so hard it's going to knock you in it next
Sir,
week.
I see that you've put a thumb over the license plate. Will you pay me $3,000 to take your car? That is my low ball.
Yeah, that one sticks in my mind. There are some modifications too that I just can't. I'm not even going to get into because I can't wrap my head around them.
BMW stripes on a.
Another
Or
good example of
badging.
that. I mean, it's just deep That kind of thing, yeah, that is a big automotive thing.
Tremendous losers who do that. Yeah.
Another good example is yellow manual convertible. It's one of one with
Corvette.
air conditioning. It's not just Corvette people, but Corvette people.
I find
Corvette
that
people
amusing.
Do it because those numbers are easy to find.
Yeah.
Chevrolet publishes them, and Chrysler does too.
Same with
for a lot.
Ford, yeah.
And so you can do that. But
I don't find
anybody
that
who
annoying.
does that,
But
it's the only one that's this, that. It's like I don't care.
But does that reach the point of a pet peeve? Does it annoy you, or is it just a...
No, I laugh. Pet peeve, here's one. When people spell Aztec with a C. That really annoys me. It's with a K, and everyone makes this mistake.
Yep.
Okay, next question from Mohammed Kinsara. Question for Doug. I've been looking at the DOUGScore spreadsheet, and I've noticed not a single car has scored a 50 out of 50 in either the weekend or daily car category. So what do you think can get a 50 score in each category? I think about this a lot, and I don't think that it's realistically possible. Certainly you could never get a 50 for both. 50 in one would be really, really hard. Some cars have a 49 and fall short on styling. That's usually the thing that trips up supercars. Several cars have 49s, but their styling score is a little bit off. Oh wait, Ferrari Daytona SP3 has a 50 in weekend. It just hasn't been updated yet. Ferrari Daytona SP3 has a 50 in weekend. 10 out of 10 for styling, acceleration, handling, fun factor, and cool factor. Daytona SP3.
SP3.
Dang.
The greatest Ferrari since the F50.
Yeah.
Other than that, 50s are hard to achieve in daily because some of the stuff is kind of a trade-off. It would be hard to get a 10 in features, comfort, quality, and practicality and still get a 10 in value.
Yeah.
Because if you get, the only cars that have like 10s in features are some of the highest end luxury cars, and then they usually are not a great value.
What does the E63 wagon have? High 40s.
The wagons do really, really well. Like the RS6, an E63 wagon, the 21 E63 wagon has a 37. It's got a 9 in features, 7 in comfort, 7 in quality. The other problem is those kinds of cars, they start to sacrifice a little bit of comfort, usually for their performance, et cetera, et cetera. It's very hard to do that. I don't know that it's even possible to get a full 50 in dailies. But in weekend, the SP3.
This question theorizes that an Ital design Columbus could get a 50 in the daily category.
No. No. It's too expensive.
Could it get 40?
Right, they won't sell it.
They won't sell it.
It's a part of their heritage.
10s and then a 0 on value.
Listen, I don't want to make fun of Ital design. Although, you know what we found out the other day? Here's a crazy thing for you. Pininfarina.
Yeah.
The most famous company in the history of Italia.
One of them.
Pininfarina sold to the Mahindra Group in 2015. They bought 76% of it for 170 million euro.
That's it? Huh.
So, 76% for 170 million euro values the whole company like $220 million.
Yeah.
So what's a Columbus cost? Well, if Pininfarina sells as a company for 220 million, you got to figure Ital design is way cheaper. Could I go buy Ital design for 100 million, then I'd have my Columbus? There's your answer.
I bet it's less.
It's probably less.
I think they would entertain many offers.
Okay, next question from first gen Nissan Juke hater. There was only one gen.
That's not true.
There's a new Nissan Juke.
Only in Europe.
What concept car would you wish to have made it production, and what car other than the first gen Juke should have stayed as a
I
concept?
love the first gen Juke. I don't
Same.
concept car wish made it production. So many.
So many. Cadillac 16.
The CN.
The CN.
Pull up the CN
yeah.
so we can just look at it for the rest of the pod. Yeah. Just pull it up and leave it up.
Is it S-I, how is it spelled?
CIEN.
Right, yeah.
And just leave it up and let's just let it be.
Oh,
Yep.
dang.
Yep.
So cool. Well, I am happy.
Zoom in and just like let it sit there. That's the answer. No other answers.
Yeah, that is so cool.
I mean, you could say one if you want.
Oh, and I don't have one. There's so many.
Look at that. Imagine if they had done it.
What was the Maybach?
Accelero.
The Accelero would be.
That was cool too.
Yeah, that would be a good
I never
one.
got as into the ME412 as some people, the Chrysler. I didn't think it looked good.
No,
But
this is yeah.
if I had this, I wouldn't talk to Filippo anymore.
You really, you can get somewhat
Straight up
close with
wouldn't.
an XLRV.
It is cool how much
No,
of
you
it made it into the XLR though.
This
the
was
front end,
amazing.
but this is
This had a Northstar V16. They put two Northstar V8s together, and then they just let things happen.
Kennan, unless you and I buy an XLRV and just put double the engine and then put it in the back.
right.
How hard
can it be? How hard can it be?
I'm going to posit that I honestly and truly think it was a mistake that they didn't make this car. I think that Cadillac was and still is desperately trying to like get their status to a level that's equivalent to BMW, Mercedes, Audi, etc. Audi shows up at the R8 and suddenly people care about them. If Cadillac had done this and then come out with all the V cars and then come out with like a good Escalade, and people would be like, damn, Cadillac is real.
yeah. Instead,
You'd see this around, people would freak. You'd freak if you saw it.
I would freak if I was around. Can we talk about Cadillac for a second?
Okay.
Can you go to Cars and Bids and pull up CT5V?
Oh yeah, because we got a nice Blackwing on.
We do, but that's not the point. That's a Cadillac CT5V Blackwing.
Yeah.
Right? It has 668 horsepower, supercharged V8.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how much power the regular CT5V has?
No, how much?
Click on it. We sold one yesterday today.
For 30 grand, how much?
360.
Yeah.
What's your price?
This is equivalent to an M340i
Yeah.
to a C300 probably.
Yeah.
Why did they call it V? I think it like they really degraded the V
Yeah,
name.
oh yeah.
And I find it to be a
Huge
mistake.
mistake.
Like V Sport existed.
Yeah.
The prior gen, the CTS had a V Sport.
The
which is what
Blackwing
this
should
is.
have been the CT5V.
V. And they could have called it Blackwing if you want, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
there's such a
And there
huge
should have been the
difference.
V-Sport.
There's a $70,000 price difference.
Oh,
between them.
power. It's laughable. I totally agree. It was a
Like,
huge
it's-
mistake. But this is General Motors.
Right.
General Motors gets 80% of things right 100% of the time. Like, I
Yeah.
am always in awe of their ability to just screw something up.
Yep.
Just.
Yep.
But at least they gave us a really good car here.
And at least they made a Corvette
Blackwing.
go 233 miles per hour.
233 mile an hour Corvette. That's pretty cool.
And the Blackwing.
Okay,
I know, what a
next
car,
question,
right? What a
last
car.
question, last question, last question, last question from Ind Can.
Ooh.
Hey guys, if you had to pick one car that you previously owned to still be in your garage, what would it be and why? Kennan?
Well,
525.
no.
That's what he's going to say.
Because I really would love to have a nice, like a simple daily that I didn't have to care about. I really loved my E46 330xi. It was so nice. It just
it a
drove
tip?
great. No, it was manual. Was it a tip? I've never had an automatic car. I've
lot of
only
those
had
are
manual cars. Yeah, well, not mine. It was a manual. It was topaz blue.
You know what I loved about
Ryan and I
that car?
both had that car. I just loved driving it.
You know what I love
It was
about that car? Infinite spoke wheels.
No, not mine.
I know what you mean.
Mine.
All the XIs had it. You probably had a decontented one.
It was lovely.
Can you pull the CN back up? So you
can.
want an E46 3 Series.
I mean, this was the other car that popped to mind, but it was so painful to own. I do miss when it was great. I do I had a dream the other night that I was driving it again, but I don't want to. I can't deal with the
Dream
pain.
nightmare.
Can I tell you something?
Fine line.
The E46 is now legal to import from Europe. And what you could do is get a 99 316D.
Oh, what a dream.
And have hubcaps, crank windows.
I would love that.
And 100 horsepower.
On the E46, yeah. Or I could get what I really could get is the compact with the weird
You
headlights.
could get the compact with the bad headlights, totally.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
with
Get
an
one of those.
S54 swap. That would be.
Get one of those. If you do that, I'll front you $500 for your.
Oh, thank you.
I
How
actually
generous.
owe Sean 500 because I told him I'd
Nice.
help him out with his Ferrari.
You're owning a lot of people.
Filippo, you got any of these
Yeah.
cars you wish you had? back?
For about a year, I owned a manual E53 X5, so first gen X5.
Yeah.
And it's just I was in front of one yesterday, and it's such a good looking
looking.
car. I think it's the best good SUV.
I believe that's
best looking
25
SUV.
years old. That is such a nice looking
It's the
car.
best looking SUV.
Yep.
Mine was great. I should have kept it, but we're moving from North Carolina to here. It didn't make sense.
Yep.
Also had a lot of issues. But it's such
Just
a gorgeous
looking at
car.
Cadillacs.
I know. I get it.
He's done. He doesn't
I
care.
don't even blame him. It's such a gorgeous car, and I think it's the best of the SUVs. Just
I
period.
don't disagree. You had a rough one.
They were all rough.
The 3-liter
be
was a
honest.
good motor. You
Oh,
both
no,
said
no.
a 3-liter, that same 3-liter
Yeah.
engine powered
The
both of those cars.
M54 is one of BMW's great engines. Reliable.
It wasn't
smooth.
It wasn't
refined. It wasn't powerful.
It was 225 horse.
But it was
Fine.
good. But it was
enough.
linear
It was
and it
fine,
was
yeah.
nice.
It was
just
smooth, yeah,
nice.
totally. And it was very
really
reliable.
nice.
A lot of those 3-liter BMWs are still on the road, and
Yeah.
you see a lot of other
Yeah.
later and earlier ones long gone.
Yep.
And the 3-liters live on.
Yep. The S54 might be the most exciting naturally
Right.
aspirated 6-cylinder, but the M54 is the best
Right.
they ever did.
Yeah.
The answer for me is none. When I sell my cars, I am done with them. Goodbye.
But
You wanted me to say my Viper? I don't.
I certainly didn't want you to say your
pine
Viper.
over
What?
some of those cars. You think wistfully, it's like, oh, I wish I still had
One
that.
time,
An
Filippo and I.
Escargo pulled up next to you with a for sale sign, you'd buy it.
It's carved. I don't have room. I don't want to deal with it. One time, Filippo and I broke down in my Viper on the on-ramp to my parking garage.
remember
And we
this story.
blocked everyone from getting into the parking garage. We broke down. And it was just a dead battery, but we had to sit there and charge the battery. And there's like 8 cars behind. Remember this?
It wasn't me.
I will.
but-
You weren't there?
No.
I could have sworn that was you. You did a lot of dumb stuff with me in my
Yeah.
Viper. I'm glad it's gone. It was lovely, but I'm glad it's gone. Look, any of car that I previously owned, I could buy again, and I don't, because no matter how much I liked them, I've moved on. That's the way it works.
That's the way it works.
Certainly wouldn't get another frog. I'll tell you that.
That's the Ferrari 360 for those of you who are confused. We think it looks like a tree frog, which it does.
or a regular ground frog. I don't
No, it's a tree frog.
right. All right, that's all for this car pod. Thank God. This is our best ever episode, I think.
Of course,
Yep,
and we
absolutely.
have an app, so that like
We have
adds
an
it a
app, and we
notch.
talk about the Cadillac CN. And I think we should talk about both those things in every episode.
I think we can do that.
And Aspark
And we-
the owl says, meow. What does owl say? Whoo! That's,
Yeah. What?
like the car. Do you think when the car goes fast, it goes, whoo? That would be
If it
cool.
existed, I think they should do that.
They should do
I
that.
recently said to a friend that it recharges, but it also hunts for prey in small fields because that's what it does. It's just small prey in big
That's
fields.
what it
yeah.
does.
That's what a real owl does.
Yep.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for paying attention and participating and watching. And send us questions. We want to hear from you.
We do.
Goodbye.